training. When she wraps up, she'll be joining us here. We're going to do a panel for probably the next hour. And let me put the panel up on the screen over here. There it is. Easy steps to grow your revenue share while increasing sales. Steps to grow your revenue share while increasing your sales. And then the panel will go for about minutes or so, maybe a little longer, depending how much fun we're having. From there, we're going to have a guy named Don Yoakum come on and give you guys a training that I heard him do in Scottsdale at the EXP Mastermind that happened last week. He did a EXP by the numbers. It's such a perfect complement to those of you guys who are selling houses and also doing agent attraction. Marty Burnett says, hello from Nashville. All right, while we're waiting for people to jump in here and get started, I want you guys to type in the box. Those of you in the room, how many of you are focused on both selling homes and agent attraction? Type both in the box. Both. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. So most of you guys, perfect. So I've always found that it is challenging to focus on multiple things at once. You always give something more of your focus than another, but agent attraction is this really cool thing where you can focus on selling houses and still do agent attraction, and you can actually do both, right? Sell more houses. So Tina's up here on the panel. I'll give you guys just a little background while we're waiting for people to join us. Those of you who are on time, I'd rather reward you for starting right on time. This is the first breakout session, EXP Influence Track, and I'm excited to be here. Obsessed with agent attraction. Tina is up here because Tina and I were chatting offline, and Tina, you added what, about 75 deals to your annual production since joining EXP?
Yeah, we went from 72 million at Keller Williams. We're going to be almost 120 million in 16 months at EXP.
Wow. Okay. And those of you in the audience, that's pretty impressive numbers. So whether you're a solo agent, an agent on a team, or you run a big team, matter. The idea of this panel, we're not going to talk about how Tina sold more houses. There's plenty of panels on that. We are going to talk about the things Tina did, because at the same time, you've managed to grow your revenue share group. But what's your revenue share group at right now?
So I've attracted about 70 frontline in 16 months, and our total group is 300 and almost 70 now.
I love it. And I hope all of you in the audience, I can't see your faces because you're only avatars and we don't smile yet, but see my face, right? When Tina says that, I just smile because that's incredible. This is the perfect example of at EXP. It's not, you don't have to choose one or the other. It's not that you just choose revenue share or that you just choose EXP. It's one or both, right? You can do both. She's growing her sales, and we're going to dive into how Tina leverages some of that sales and production in agent attraction, some of the lessons she's learned from agent attraction, right? And then we've got another gentleman up here. Say hello, Jeff Lyons.
Hello, Jeff Lyons. Sorry.
I love it. So Jeff Lyons is pretty new to EXP. How long have you been with EXP for, Jeff?
Officially, like less than a month.
Yes. You guys in the audience want to clap? Say welcome to the family, Jeff Lyons. So Jeff ran an independent brokerage in Northwest Indiana and was actually selling houses himself at the same time. So he was selling houses as well as he built an independent brokerage of 35 agents. You guys come to a lot of agent attraction trainings. I know we tend to hear the same people over and over and over. So I wanted to bring Jeff in because he has a slightly different perspective, because no matter what company you're recruiting for, whether it's EXP or an independent brokerage, Jeff brought on 35 agents while still balancing his own production. There's some lessons that you learn while doing that, right? So Jeff, how long did it take you to build the 35 agents in your indie brokerage?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And then in the last month since he's been at EXP, he's already brought on some pretty big producers and some pretty big names just in the first month to his EXP revenue share group. And we'll dive into some of the techniques that he's done for that. Joining us in a minute is also going to be a woman named Krista Mayshore, right? Krista Mayshore is, and by the way, if you're typing in the box, let's see, I'm watching all these things go through here. Let's see. I'm just going to assume that there's someone from EXP monitoring the box. If there's questions that I need to know, let me know. Otherwise, it's hard to monitor the box and at the same time. We're going to have someone join us in a minute. Krista Mayshore. She has added about 100 agents to her revenue share group in the last 13 weeks. Starting from, that was pretty much, she launched and added 13 people in, and at the same time selling houses, running a team. So we'll dive into that as well. That is the plan. At 11 o'clock, to give you further housekeeping, those of you who are here all day with us, Carlos German, is he in the room already? Let's see if Carlos is here. Not here yet, but Carlos has an amazing panel coming up after this. So at 10:30 a.m. when this one ends, an hour and a half from now, we're going to go into Limitless Productivity Warrior of Brent Gove, Alex Hay, Jennifer Encarnacion, Dan Hillsman, Ken Williams. Again, agents selling a lot of houses who are also managing a lot of agent traction. Let's just dive in. All right, I'm curious to know. I'm obsessed with agent attraction. How many of you in the box? I want to see. Type in the box. You guys are obsessed with agent attraction. Like you study it, you learn it. You like this is your full-time focus. How many of you guys are obsessed with agent attraction? Kyle Handy, I know you are. All right, I see a lot of you guys in there. Awesome. Tina Call, obviously, yes. Jeff Lyons is cool. And how many of you guys are still more? And Paula says, I don't feel good at it. I love it. I'm glad you're here. No, but not good. I'm not asking whether you're good or bad. The fact that you're here is telling me that you're here because you want to learn. It's exactly what we're going to give you. We're going to give you some overall mindset things and some tactical step-by-step information out of this. And how many of you in the audience are like, look, I still focus more on selling houses, but I just want to learn a little bit about agent attraction. How many of you focus more on selling houses, but you want to learn a little bit about agent attraction? Both selling houses. Awesome. I love it. And here's the secret that a lot of people, if you haven't heard this before, hear the rumors that EXP is just about a company for, recruiting. I don't know how many of you guys have heard that, right? EXP is just about recruiting. It's all about recruiting. Only 5% of our company attracted more than 5 agents. Only 5% of our company have attracted more than 5 agents. So what that means is 95% of our company, right? We're currently at 37, what are we at? 38,000 people almost now. Even if we're at 37,000 people times 95, that means there's 35,000 agents at this company that are focused on selling houses. Focus on selling houses first and foremost. And the revenue share is just a bonus for them. For those of you guys who are here, I'm glad you're spending a little time on this. Start working our panel in. Tina, I want to know for you, what percentage of your time do you spend on agent attraction? Time do you spend just selling houses?
So the better part of my day, when I first joined in April of 2019, I was still selling 130 houses personally per year. This year I'll probably sell 40, and next year 0. So I'm looking forward to that. But so my day consisted of, in the beginning, all day Monday through Friday was growing my business, and then at night I build my empire. So people would say to me, "Don't you sleep?" And I'm like, "No, because I'm doing my job during the day. I'm building my second future at night." So I would do a lot of my connections with agents while I was literally laying in bed on my laptop.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And let's dive into that for a second before we come. You said you're doing your job during the day, and your goal sell any houses, correct? Was that from day one? Did you know that was your goal, or did you always want to keep selling houses?
For me, I was 20 years in the business. So I got to a point where, I know how to make money. I built my business on expireds and FSBOs. I know how to pick up the phone and make 10 grand. So it wasn't about making more money. After 20 years in this business, it's a high stress business. So you just say, okay, I'm trading my time for money. So I'm truly not wealthy. I'm just a really high paid employee of my own business. And so I wanted to be able to, head to Europe for 2 months and come back and go, wow, we sold 50 homes. That's a true business owner. So I think I had the wake up call when I learned about EXP and learned about actually how to have passive residual income. That was the aha moment where I knew I could get some of my time back and my life back. Now, I've probably spent more time in the last 16 months on working than I ever have, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, if that makes sense. So I did want to stop selling homes, but I never had an opportunity to know how, and this, showed up in my lap, and here we are.
I love it. And guys in the audience, I want you to pay attention to this. That was her goal. She was very clear in what she wanted to do after 20 years in the biz. For some of you guys, you may never want to stop selling houses, and that's okay. And in your revenue share groups, you don't want people to stop selling houses, because if they don't sell houses, there's no revenue, right? So most of us are focused, I know Tina definitely is, on creating tools and supporting our revenue share groups to sell houses, right? Because it's only a very small percentage of us that are going to focus full time on revenue share. For most people, this is just going to round out some income, level up the highs and lows, right? So for Jeff, let me ask you a question, Jeff. Even in the last months you've been at EXP, but over the 2 years you were building your business, how did you balance, and Tina, think about your answer because I'll come back to you too, balance selling homes with recruitment? How do you keep that balance?
So it's funny because basically it's flip-flopping what Tina said. I used to always say selling homes was my job and helping agents or recruiting agents was my career. So it's almost complete opposite of what she's doing now. Like she does her selling of homes during the day and then attracting agents at night. Mine, it was just like Tina, very much all the time that I was focused on helping agents and recruiting agents and attracting them to my brokerage. And then I would sell homes to put food on the table and help with expenses and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you're both saying the same thing. So if you guys are taking notes at home, down, analyzation or laser focus, right? When you're doing what you're doing, you guys are laser focused on it. So do you have any other ways, Tina, for you balance? Like you sell a lot of homes. How do you balance selling homes with the agent attraction part?
So in the beginning, again, I think for all of us, it's going to morph into whatever it morphs into based on our schedule and where our focus is. So when I joined EXP, we were, our team was going to sell 300 homes that year. We didn't have time really to agent attract. I'm blessed to know that, in my career, in my area, I was one of the top 5 agents out of 9,000. So agents naturally kind of watched what we did and they appreciated, what we built. And so I had agents reaching out to me going, why did you go and what did you do? So those were pivotal moments because I started to wake up going, oh my God, there's more agents just like me that have pain points. And these are not, agents selling 2 homes a year. These are agents selling 300 and 400 homes a year. We all had the same pain. We didn't know how to escape the daily grind. Grinding is not fun. It's not something somebody signs up to do. I want to grind all day long. It's just a job. And if you're driven and real estate can make you millions of dollars, you're just going to go, how do I make more money? Well, I have to sell more homes. Well, I have to give up more of my freedom. So coming into EXP in the beginning, my job was selling homes. So I had to build it at night. But what I started to morph into was understanding that as I bring on these agents, all they want is to learn from me. They want to learn how I built my business. Their focus was teach me how. And so, if I'm teaching them how, that's going to build longevity. And I started to get more passionate about teaching them how. It's sort of like when I walked into a listing, and so I used to cheer when you and you bring an agent into much money off one agent. But if you help that agent and they're successful, success attracts success, and other agents will be attracted to that person. How did you do it? How did you build it? So now my mission is like, let's reduce the failure rate in the industry. Let's truly help these agent partners grow, because then our, downline and organizations will grow. So yeah, I mean, you just handle it. And now my agent attraction is pretty much all day building relationships to selling homes. So it's morphed into something different.
Yeah, I love it. And guys, write this down. I'm going to shatter some worldview right now. Before I joined EXP, I don't know, Tina, if you felt like this. Before I joined EXP, I heard the person who brought me into the company, they said, join EXP, nothing, get rich, retire forever. Really say that in any way, shape, or form. They actually told me it was work, but I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear the part that it was work. I just heard join EXP, rich, retire forever. It wasn't true at all. Like this, it takes anything like that, Tina, when you joined, or did you know it was going to be work?
I knew it would be work. It was funny because my old team leader said, don't go, recruiting is hard. And I was like, well, what does he mean recruiting is hard? Like, I'm a good salesperson. I don't think it's hard. I think it's going to be easier than he thinks. And he was right. Recruiting is hard. What I understood was, if you're just out there calling people cold and saying, hey, come to EXP, let me tell you about this amazing model, you're going to get hung up on, and nobody is going to want to ever talk to you again. It was learning patience, I think, was the thing that I needed to understand as a little bit of a driver personality. I needed to learn to be patient, build relationships, then getting rich comes, just like with sellers and buyers. You got to learn your craft, get better, and have consistency every single and then you'll make millions of dollars. It's a boring task. And sometimes building relationships can feel a little boring, and you might have to do it for a year before somebody joins. I mean, my two biggest recruits took a year to join. So I think it's just being patient and knowing the craft and learning how to be a better communicator.
I love it. And Jeff, I see your mic's on, so you're going to want to jump in here. Paula asked the question. Let's dive into that. What is like building relationships? And I'm laughing, Tina, as you say, building relationships is boring. Driver, I'm a high I. I'm a no, you don't really mean they're boring, but like I do 15, 20 Zooms a day and I'm lit up. I'm like, this is so fun. I just get to talk to people. You're probably like, okay, come on, just join the company, right? So let's talk to Jeff for a minute and we'll come back to you, Tina. Both of you are master relationships, very different approaches. So Jeff, let's talk to you about building relationships, and Tina.
So not in and out. So I'll kind of take what Tina says is 100% right. I've waited a year just in an interview with an agent just to talk about my independent brokerage. And it's not, you're right. If you just spend your whole life cold calling agents and say, hey, let me talk to you about EXP, they're going to just start ignoring your calls. And B, I just think the conversion rate's going to be really low. My approach has always been from a place of value. Like, how can I help these agents who, just like Tina brought up, all have pain points? Everyone has pain points. Different people have different pain points, and identify those pain points and, show how EXP can solve a lot of those pains. As an independent broker, I didn't want to switch. I thought that my model was great. I thought that it was, something that could go on forever and grow. And then as I saw EXP, like I realized it was the way of the future, and I wanted to be part of that, really before anybody else. And a lot of people took notice to that, and just developed relationships from that by being consistent about giving value first and then really never asking for them to switch. I mean, people reach out to me all the time now because I've always brought value with no expectation.
I love it. I love that. And by the way, guys, thank you for typing in the box or telling me it's a little hard to hear me. I just changed microphones. Can you guys hear me any better now? Let me know. All right. So, Tina, do you build relationships the same way, or do you take a different approach?
Well, and I want to take my other comment back. Building relationships is not boring, but what I meant was the consistency of doing it can kind of, if you're doing it as a business to grow, let's say agent attraction, it can become boring if you just make it a system. For me, it's never been boring because I think at the end of the day, agents want to learn how to sell real estate. That's what they want. And so when they come to myself or a teammate, they're like, hey, how are you guys crushing it? It's always about how are you selling more homes? They're never asking about EXP. They're just not. And so when they come into our trainings or they come in to hear what we're doing every day, they just naturally are attracted to the energy that we provide. So energy attracts energy. We're not out there doing lunch and learns every weekend. In fact, we were going to do our first lunch and learn when we started in April, and I canceled it. I'm like, we're not doing this. It just doesn't feel right. Let's do a training instead. And so as we started to train these agents and they came in and they watched me do my listing presentation, let's say, they would call a friend and be like, hey, you got to come next week. Tina's going to teach us this. Then they just come every week. We never brought up EXP ever. And then at the end of the day, they would come to us and go, how do we join EXP? Like this, if this is what you guys are teaching here, we want to be a part of this movement. And so that's really, that was my way. I mean, everybody's got a different way. I mean, I'm friends with GoGo. She's a social media guru. She teaches you social media. I love teaching people how to prospect and make money in their business. Jesse, you have a different craft. We all have different attraction, methods, but mine is not cold calling people or doing, lunch and learns. It's let's teach them, let's partner, let's grow together, and then we all get what we want.
And I think that fits in really nicely. And by the way, Krista, I think I saw you type in the box. Krista Mayshore, if you're in the room, come on up and grab a chair on stage here. You're part of this panel.
I'm on stage.
Oh, you are on stage. On this side of me.
Yeah,
There you are. Oh, good. Welcome.
hands
So
are
everybody,
raised.
this is, you'll have to mute your mic out when you're not talking, Krista, or pop headphones in. That'll clear up some of the echo. There you go. Yep. Guys, if there's an echo ever, it's just the echo should be gone now. The echo is there because if you're on stage, you need headphones or to mute yourself out when you're not talking. So, Krista, well, feel free to work into this panel as well. If any of the panelists, by the way, want to put your face-up camera on either one of the side monitors, if you just click on the side monitor and click the little camera icon, you're welcome to turn your webcam on. I just think it's fun. Hi. Technology inside here. Okay, so we've got some more questions, but I from what it's so if you're someone who sells a lot of houses or you're selling houses, period, you can leverage that and help train people on what you're doing if you want to learn. Right? Find some resources of people that do. It doesn't have to be in your revenue share group. It could be EXP puts out 50 hours a week of live training from some amazing icon agents. You can invite people to that through the EXP World Guest Pass. There's all sorts of way, whether you sell a lot of houses yourself or not, that while being part of those trainings, you're going to help increase your own knowledge base because the best way to learn is to teach. All right, so Jeff, you had a question from someone you wanted to answer here. What did they say?
Yeah, just to add on to what Tina was saying, somebody asked if she was training agents from other brokerage. I can answer for her that I can almost guarantee she was, because I was doing the same thing. And a lot of agents, when they hear that, they're like, well, you're giving away your secrets. And here's one thing that I learned from Tim, that you could literally give away all secrets on how you've been successful. 5% of people will do nothing with it. They will take no action. They will say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm not doing anything with it." 10% will do it, and they will do it worse than you. And 5% will do it, and they'll do it better than you. And the good thing is, those 5% will come back to you, and they'll say, "Jeff, this is what I did, and this is how I made it better. And thank you so much for teaching me to do it." So in all of those situations, you do not lose. So don't ever be afraid to share your secrets with people. EXP organization, you lose nothing by sharing. You only get stronger.
I love it.
I absolutely agree with what Jeff and Tina are saying. That's what we're doing is we are completely leading with value. We're doing an 1.5 hour long training that talks all about social media and video and how to stand out right now amongst COVID as the community market leader. And then once they go to that, we say, hey, if you'd like to learn more about partnering with us, you can go to another training tomorrow. So we do it every Wednesday. We do that training. We've now made it actual webinar format, so people that are in our organization can use it as well to send to people. And then we take them after watching that video to a live Q&A with Jesse and myself. And by doing that, we've brought in 100 agents in
we have Nathan, you have your microphone on. There we go. Sorry, we had someone else open the mic.
So by doing that strategy, we've brought in 100 agents in a 4-month time frame. So and 58 of them, I believe, are just on the front level. So it's working marvelously. And now we're teaching our agents how to do the exact same thing, how to lead with value and just help people. And when you get on the phone with people every single day, you're calling people, you're calling agents about buying their houses that you want, maybe have buyers for, or listings, or you need to educate yourself on the market. When you're calling these people, just talk to them and make it a conversation and ask how their business is, and casually bring up how well you're doing, and maybe you can bring up some great things that you're learning. And then all of a sudden what happens is you could say, I'm with EXP and here's what I'm doing, and just talk about it. And I've got give them something that can help them, right? Let me send you something, send them something that will add value to their life, and then keep doing that. It turns into a conversation later about EXP.
And by the way, we'll dive into that for a minute. Let's talk about some scripting. I know that's one of the most common questions people have is, what do you say right? What do you say when you talk to people? And that's really part of the magic of this is there's nothing you even like. We'll give you some scripts, but there doesn't have to be a script, right? You can literally just call. And what I'm always looking for when I'm talking to people, I'm looking for pain points and I'm looking for emotional hot buttons. Pain points and emotional hot buttons. And if you want to know my script that I use, so if I'm calling an agent and I'm talking about a property and we're just talking, we get into dialogue, I'm not going to vomit EXP on them, right? I will use this script that I got from, I believe I stole this from Gene Frederick. And so I'm going to come to, it's just going to go down the road, go to Tina, then we'll go to Jeff, then Chris, if you got anything you want to use. Here is what I say if I want to get to the heart of someone's either pain points or emotional hot buttons. I say, all right, so on a scale of one, actually, first I say this. Can I ask you my favorite real estate question ever? Because no one's going to say no to that, right? It opens a loop of curiosity. Can I ask you my favorite real estate question ever? And they go, sure. Say, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful, being amazing, how would you rate your current real estate career? Or how would you rate your current real estate business? They answer, they say a 4, a 5, a 7, an 8, a 9, doesn't matter. You repeat and affirm whatever they say. You go, 7, awesome. What would make it like an 8 or a 9? A 9 or a 10. I used to always ask what would make it a 10, and I found that that made people kind of lock up in fear because they couldn't even imagine what their life would be like as a 10. So that freaks people out. Just ask them what to make a little higher, and whatever they tell you, that's going to show you what's missing in their business, and then you can focus on how they have achieve that. Maybe it's directly through EXP. Maybe it's through training you know how to do. Maybe it's through there's so many ways you have on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your business? And then what would make it a 10? Or what would make it a 9 or an 8? What about you, Tina? What do you have any sort of scripting? What do you say when you're talking to these agents?
You know, it's so funny because I'm love scripts as far as for real estate. I never really dove into scripts for agent attraction because, to be honest, it's, you know, we've been blessed with training our agents to invite people to the opportunity. So I'm really, you know, kind of bringing people into the trainings. I guess when they're here, you know, and the conversation is natural, like you said, you know, what would change your business? If you could change one thing about your business, what would it be? So it's just starting that conversation. You know, hey, how's your year going? If you could change one thing in your business, what would it be? And that just starts down the path of just building relationship. I don't look at it, I'm going into a conversation about EXP on the first meeting. It's usually after I've talked to the agent for 3 or 4 times and we're just and so, you know, I might direct them to my YouTube page or direct them to my Facebook page, say, hey, I've done a video, or I'll send you a video on that, you know, and you're just sending them information. Like, I've got a video that might help you with that. And then I'm opening up that relationship. So for me, it's the long game play. It's not like, oh my God, let me show you about EXP, come to my lunch and learn. We can do that. That's not my personality.
I love it. And we don't have to have everybody answer the same questions. I always get bored on panels when you have, 3 people all answer the same question. But do you have anything, either Jeff or Krista, anything to add in terms of the scripting or non-scripting that you use when you're talking to agents?
I hate using scripts. I think that going back to what I originally said, was you always want to come from a place of value. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going to host an event every single month. We're going to operate between like a training event and a fun event. And obviously with COVID, we don't know how this is going to work. So our first training event is in December. It's a Zoom business planning event because everybody, when it's cold, they start to think about what their next year is going to look like, especially in December and January. So we want to do a free business planning event. And I'm very against like hard pitches. I will never pitch you. I don't ever ask for business. So I don't ever ask for agents to join. So what Krista and I have thought about doing is, so we're going to do our trainings for a little bit in the day. And then, hey, if you're interested in joining with us in EXP, come to this Zoom. So they have to actually leave the current Zoom that they're in and go into another one. And that's the same thing you can do for a live event when just, hey, like if we go to Top Golf, we're going to go to Top Golf and we're going to play, we're going to play golf for a little bit. If you guys are in XP, come to the bar afterwards. If not, no pressure. Like I'm never high pressure. I don't think you can be in this world anymore. So I'm there to give value. And, I think that that's the way you win long term with getting agents is, provide them with some sort of value. There's so many resources out there. I mean, you can learn anything on YouTube. There's tons of podcasts. I mean, that part of Jesse's and mine's relationship is just sharing information with stuff that we found valuable, like even music that reminded me of the other person. Like that's deeper relationships. And number one thing is that I'm available to other agents. There's a lot of agents here that work for other brokerages where they can't get a hold of their team leader. They have questions, and sometimes there isn't there's no emergencies in real estate, but there's sometimes you need a question answered like that's time sensitive. And if their broker isn't available and you are, that's valuable. And that's I think how you win long term is being valuable to people without having any expectations.
I love it, guys. And I'm trying to read the box to see there's a lot of good questions. I'm going to scroll up through here and kind of pick out some questions as we see them from the audience because we're about halfway through this first panel. Social distancing option. Sally, I will say, so I helped bring Jeff Lyons on to EXP. He had 35, in case you joined us late, Jeff Lyons ran an independent brokerage, 35 agents, right? I helped bring him over to EXP. We've never met in person. I live in San Diego. He's in Northwest Indiana. Valparaiso, right? I've never even been to the state of Indiana. And it's one of those things where if I've become obsessed, I'm obsessed with a lot of things, but during COVID, I've become obsessed with how do I leverage Zoom, social media, and a bunch of things to do what I used to be able to, because I used to travel around the country a lot. I haven't left my house in a while. I mean, physically I've left the couple, but you know what I mean? So how do I use these tools we have to really leverage that? So I think there's a way to do a social distancing option, either in person or via Zoom. I may never get back flying on a plane the way I used to a lot because I now know how to do it with Zoom, and it's a heck of a lot more efficient. I can rather than do these in-person events, we can do it scale over webinars. It's really fun. All right, let's see here some questions here. I want to ask a question that I'll read through the box and see. I have one more question for you guys. Let's see who wants to jump in here first. Tina, Krista, Jeff, I want to know your biggest agent attraction mistake so far. I once gave a presentation to a Remax office looking at leaving Remax and joining EXP costume at Halloween a couple years ago, and it went bad. I'll just say that. I won't tell the whole story. It's kind of funny. Team leader told me I should come in costume. They said everyone's gonna be dressed up. Turns out they were not dressed up. There's like 3 of them dressed up. This is before COVID. I was like dripping. It was really hot, sweaty wear. Anyway, it was kind of funny. It was probably one of my biggest agent attraction fails so far. Tina, Krista, Jeff, who wants to start? You guys got any agent attraction mistakes so far?
I made my first call. I'm not a caller by any means, so I made my first call be like to one of the top brokers in the area. So what I would do next time is probably not call one of the top guys and start because I definitely made a lot of mistakes. I just started talking too much about EXP and not really value, and I bombed. I wasn't confident at all. I was nervous about calling, and it totally so.
Got it. Love
Let
it.
me add to that. I think that when you go and do these panels, I think you guys think that we all have like everything together. Krista is an absolute real estate celebrity, and she called me. And I don't know what to say. I don't know how to call. I don't know what to say. And she was like freaking out. I was like, Krista, like the fact that you're calling people is the biggest hurdle. So like, don't get obsessed with what do I have to say? Going to be nervous. That's honestly the big thing for me is leading with value. So I want to have something I can, when I do call, I can say, hey, we're having this event. I'd love for you to join. And naturally, I'm going to go to EXP because that I switched to EXP through social media. So I'm going to let them lead that conversation to social media. But I actually want to point out another one of Krista's mistakes. when she was recruiting me, I met with Krista because I had contributed to her book. I really appreciate her intelligence when it comes to real estate. And when she joined EXP, I was like, oh my God, because I had been looking at EXP for like 8 or 9 months, and nobody could explain the numbers correctly to me. And nobody really approached me in a way where I was like, okay, this person is legit. Krista sent me up to one of her sponsors, who is not Jesse, and we talked, and I like the guy was fine. It's not somebody I get along with, and like our personalities clashed, and so I actually had moved on to a new sponsor, and I was probably like 2 or 3 weeks away from signing up with them, and then Jesse sends me a message and says, "Hey, Jeff, I saw you talked with Krista, and I saw you talked with this other sponsor. Are you still thinking about EXP?" I was like, "Yeah, I am, but honestly, I've almost essentially committed to this other sponsor."
And let me pause right here, Jeff, and say before you continue. First thing that I said, and I want you to tell me if this is true, Jeff. If you've got someone that you're committed to, go for it. This is real. Jeff interviewed how many people for EXP? Jeff, did you interview?
9.
9 different potential sponsors. So in the audience, guys, I want you to know from a corporate culture standpoint, do not steal other people's recruits. Not that, like, if someone's going deep with someone, let them go, do their thing. But this is happening in the world. This is real. There are people who are going and outbound doing research. They are actively searching and interviewing different people and seeing who they will connect with. That's real. So, as long as you say, if they start saying, no, I want to interview people and talk to you, then it's okay. To be edifying each other. Fully agree. Outbound searching. He had gone through 8 or 9 different potential people to talk to. That was Jeff's choice, and we have to let people make their choices. So continue, Jeff. So I called you, and what did I say?
So, and honestly, Jesse and I connected on a very like personal level. We started talking about music. Jesse, I'll let you tell your part of the story. But like Jesse was, so when you switch from an independent brokerage to EXP, if you're an independent broker that makes any money, you're going to lose money when you switch to EXP. And honestly, the person I was about to sponsor to and Jesse are the only 2 people who told me that. Like, they're like, yeah, you're going to lose money. But Jesse kind of solidified that long term, you can earn passive income way more aggressively with way less effort and no risk and liability, and you can take a bunch of other things off the plate. So it's more about really listening to me and matching up personalities together. And so that's kind of where I was able to like connect the dots and be like, okay, I finally legitimately understand how this is going to work, how it's going to look, and then how we're going to get to that point where I can replace the income I had from my independent brokerage. So matching up the right people with the right sponsors is super important.
Let me answer a couple of questions I see in the chat box. Money. So Jeff is one of these rare independent brokers. He had 35 agents at his brokerage. So he was the broker. He had 35 agents at an independent company, basically not a franchise. That's what independent means. And he was making 6 figures without selling any houses, just from the splits he's getting from his agents. So in order to come to EXP, it is a short-term step back. There's ways to offset that, but you have to be real with people. You have to be transparent that you're not going to join EXP and get rich overnight. It's building a new income stream that he was never going to make 7 figures as an independent broker. But at EXP, that's possible, and with a lot less expenses and with a lot less liability, right? That's the difference. For some of you guys typing in here, I see some stories. We hit some emotional hot buttons, so I want to really make sure we have 338 of you in the room, and I want to make sure we really hit this point home, right? Someone said they've been talking to someone for over a year, right? Husband and wife, and they were transitioning. An out-of-town agent called them and offered to pay for a custom website and lead gen, and if they sponsored another person. That is not right. I'm telling you guys right now, I feel your pain. It's happened to me. I get it. That is not our corporate culture at EXP. Support each other. We are one team, one dream, right? This is one of those things. Does it happen? right? We're talking about a case here where you can't control the people you're talking to. If you haven't solidified a relationship or they don't understand whatever it is and they start going and they're just on a path to interview a bunch of people, you have to respect people's journey. I think, Jeff, I don't know how many times I told you, dude, sponsor whoever you want, right? Like you got to pick this, right, Jeff? So I mean, that's what comes out of my mouth often is you have someone that's your sponsor. I support that. Stay with them. That's your person. That's really who you should be going to. And email that we can take some of this offline or somewhere else. Let me see. I'll have to read through these back there. But I saw some other questions. I just want to make sure you guys hear that message. If someone has someone they've been talking to and they're going deep with EXP, honor that. Don't go recruit them. There's plenty of agents out there. 1.2 million agents. There's plenty of agents all to win in a pretty map, right? 100%. Okay. Tina, did you have something you wanted to expand on any of these topics? Otherwise, I got another question for you from the audience.
Yeah, just on the mistakes things, obviously, I think, all of us are making mistakes every single day, but I think, not following up enough, that's a big mistake because I think agents are getting smarter as EXP is now, very well known. People have heard about it from everybody. Agents come to me all the time saying, I'm interviewing agents, I'm interviewing a sponsor. I haven't heard this, as commonly until probably the last 5 or 6 months. So I think it is, digging deeper, but at the end of the day, I have, myself let go of recruits and said, nope, you should go to this person, only to find out that 2 months later, 3 months later, they leave the company. And, because sometimes I think, that person picking a sponsor also needs to make sure they're track for their own future. So I think that's, the mistake is, sometimes letting people go too soon or tucking people under unmotivated people on my team. So I have done that probably 10 times, tucked people under because I want to help everyone. And then you realize the person that you've tucked them under doesn't really care about agent attraction. So I think it was Brent Gove that told me, do not do that. People are going to either be agent attractors or they're not. And so you can't make everybody rich. You can't help the world. You have to obviously do it for yourself and do what's right. So I think, just that, and then not holding on to the pain that, oh my God, somebody just signed up with so-and-so out of wherever. It's like sometimes you hold on to that as a personal thing and you just got to let it go. I mean, you can't have regrets and you just got to let it go fast.
I love it. Kyle just typed in the box, be a leader, not a savior. I've never heard that, Kyle, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I've got more questions.
Can I say something real quick too, Jess? I think it's really important as well to be comfortable allowing somebody, if somebody you feel will do better and thrive with a different mentor, even if you have been talking to them, I would say that too, right? You want what's best for the individual. So because that way they'll succeed, they'll stay with the company will succeed, et cetera, et cetera. And back to the attraction. So recently I had one of my best friends come over, and he has been with the same broker for 13 years. When I left, he chose not to come, and he's very, very loyal. So I had him over, and I haven't approached him about working with me, and I've had my own company for many, many years. And so I changed the XP, and I didn't tell anybody for about the first 8. I just started telling people about 4 months ago. I had him tell me all the things about real estate, all the things that he dislikes about real estate, and I put it on the other side. And then I went through each point individually, and I talked to him about how it will help with what he dislikes. So for example, one of the things that he said was that, I don't like that every single year I have to start over from scratch, right? Everything starts from scratch. I work hard, and then the year comes, I got to start again as well. With the attraction, agency for 5 years, and our goal was for longer. So him out of that issue, and he told his broker, yes, literally, him and his wife cried on my table. Number one, because I've been friends with him for 35 years. I've never once talked to him about trying to change companies. And I just said, listen, if you don't do this, in 15 years, you're going to be in a world of hurt because you're 40 years old. He has no retirement. He has made the same amount of income for the past 10 years solid. And nothing is going to change. And it really, really hit him, right, by doing it that way. And so him and his wife are coming over. I'm super happy because I know that this is going to change his life. He needs to start thinking about having retirement and having a passive income. So, if that helps.
Totally does. And I want to change gears for just a minute. And Tina, I see you typing in the box. So if there was questions I missed, Tina, if you want to scroll back and see if there's any good questions. But so Krista, if you guys don't have a copy of her book, it's Sell 100 Homes a Year. Like she's a coach and trainer, amazing social media, video training, just fantastic trainer. Okay, Jeff ran a 35-person independent brokerage, and Tina runs a large team, super producer. Like everyone on stage, granted, sells a lot, and Krista's also an agent. She sells a lot of houses, right? Jeff is also an agent, sells a lot of houses. This is a productivity focused recruitment, agent attraction session. Same time, I want to know if you guys weren't you, we took you to a brand new state where you had zero, no one knew who you were, right? We took you to a brand new state where you didn't know a bunch of agents. You weren't you. You were just an agent starting out, and you're selling a couple houses. I want to know who wants to start. Let me turn around. I can see you guys. Not that you can wave your hands really, but who wants to? Cheney, you want to start? What would you do first?
So I think that's an amazing question because I think about it all the time. My agents have this mental block sometimes that are, oh, well, you're Tina and you've been successful, so that's why you're doing better. But the reality is, I don't know if I saw Dan Hillsman in the room. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago, and Dan sells, 6 to 12 homes a year. He's a rock star and has a team of 350 agents. What Dan has that most people don't is that he will not give up. He's got consistent efforts that are daily. So if I was a brand new agent in a market, first of all, I would study my craft. And I think a lot of agents, I see it to this day, like, oh, I want to recruit. I want to recruit. Okay, tell me the top 5 people in the company. Tell me the stories. Tell me about Gene Frederick. Tell me about Brent Gove. Tell me about every single player at EXP, because guess what? I have studied my craft. I have studied the company, the stats. I am learning about this company every single day. So when I am in front of an agent, I can fix their pain points, or I can take them to a leader in my upline. If I didn't have the, let's say, sales record that I have, I would be taking everybody to a Jay Kinder or Mike Reese, to Jesse, to Krista, to Jeff. Somebody that is doing more than you. Your job is not to spew EXP on people. Your job is to solve their problems. Hey, if I could, would you? If I could get you an appointment with Krista, who's a top trainer in the industry, for 15 minutes to help you solve 2 things in your business, would you take that meeting? That person would be ridiculous to say no. So your job is not to sell EXP. Your job is to put them in front of people that can help them by creating a partnership. So that's how I would do it.
And also utilize your people in your organization that are above you, right? Utilize the people that are above you, offer value. I can tell you my whole company, both in real estate and in coaching, has led by offering value. Value starts, the more you give, the more you receive. When you give somebody something that truly can help them, they are so thankful of it. And buy them a book, or send them, listen to what they're telling you. I know that Jesse sent Jeff. First of all, I sucked at recruiting Jeff. Jesse did it for me, but Jesse sent Jeff this poster thing, whatever it was, Jesse. But he does things like that. Jesse also bought, I'm not saying to do this, but he bought somebody an iPhone that is a major influencer when their iPhone broke.
So that was before, and that was before EXP, right? That was,
wow.
This is something I've been doing for years, and we'll talk about that.
Although
Yes.
Jesse's never bought me a present. Let me just say that. And Jesse brought me in.
Yeah, I got a banner. Somebody else got an iPhone. That's pretty great.
Well, I got nothing, Jeff. So you got a lot more than I did. That's true. Jesse got me you. That's so true. We love you too.
Love it. I love it. All right, so Ian just asked in the chat box, and I want to say this out loud. Ian said, what other great? I want to go back to someone who typed in the chat box. So Tina, we can come to you on this. And then Tina mentioned at first she sold houses during the day and she did agent attraction at night. I also do agent attraction at night, but I just do agent attraction all day long because I'm obsessed. So I love late at night when my 5-year-old's sitting in bed and I'm in his room waiting for him to fall asleep in the dark. I'm on Facebook and I'm messaging people, and I'm mainly messaging people around EXP recruitment. They don't know it's EXP recruitment. I'm not vomiting EXP. I'm just messaging people. And the most common question I ask, it's the simplest question ever. Hey, so-and-so, thanks for the friend request, if it's a brand new request. Or, hey, so-and-so, long time no talk. How's life, question mark, leave a blank space. How's biz, question mark. That's it. It's like, that's the best cold opener ever. How's life, how's biz? You just want to get them talking. That's really all I do. Tina, what about you? What do you do on social media or anything for agent attraction late at night?
So I get a lot of people at friend request, and of course, I'm just kind of constantly cleaning out my 5,000 or whatever friends. And like you, if somebody messages me, my first thing is not ignore them, is just say, hey, how do we know one another? You look familiar to me. And maybe I met them at a training event 5-10 years ago. I mean, I've met thousands of agents, so it's just kind of that opening line, like, how do we know each other? And usually that person will say, oh, well, we don't. I saw something that you did, or I admire you on social media, or other EXP agent, and they just wanted to learn whatever. And so then we just start that conversation. But it's just, yeah, it's liking people's stuff, it's asking about life, it's not talking about EXP.
I love it. And Krista, I'm assuming you have something to jump in here. What do you do with social media for agent attraction?
Well, I create funnels. So we've built 4 different funnels, which we haven't even launched yet, for agent attraction. And the process is this. So basically, we get them to go to a training where it's pure value, talks all about social media and video and how to expose yourself to the masses, and how most agents aren't using video correctly. So we don't even talk EXP. So it's an hour and 15 minutes of just pure give. And then at the end of it, we say, hey, if you'd like to learn how to partner with me, then go to this other website called this other website. And so then that's a Q&A where we talk about EXP. We talk about the agents in under 4 months just from that strategy. And we haven't launched our funnels yet. So then we're now we're going to be launching funnels around agent attraction.
For the audience. For the audience, no, been agents for years, so she's not running traffic to EXP when she says funnel. She's just driving traffic company. In the audience, 63, a couple of coaches. Most of you are not. You can take the same idea. What we're driving traffic to, it's an hour-and-a-half webinar on how to do social media funnels and video. Like, it's not an EXP training. That's what she's driving traffic to, something at the top, basically. It's all using social media to drive traffic to helpful content. Is that a good summary, Krista?
Someone just said, how do I manage your social media? I have in place, and I'm the video person. I don't know that I teach video, and we love video. So in my real estate business this year, we'll sell, I think, around 90 homes, and I work on that business about 3% of the time, all because of video. So we take the video, we properly distribute it, so we get tons of eyes on it, and then we bring people through a process. And so now it's the point where I don't even have to show up to that. So agent attraction is not that difficult either when you do it this way, meaning I'm not talking one-on-one to people. We're getting 10, 30 people on a webinar every single week from watching a training that was really, really helpful, right? So I send them a training that's very, very helpful, and you all have something like that. So let's just say there's something that you're really, really good at, and there's a skill that you could use to help people. So you get people on that training, they watch the training that's just all about value. And then you say, hey, if you'd like to learn how to work with me more, we're having another training tomorrow where you can ask me questions, live training. Right now, the training that they watch first, it isn't even live. It's on a webinar. It's called Webinar Jam. So it's it just runs automatically. Now my students, not my students, but my people in my organization, they also use that same strategy. They give my presentation, that's me, that's all about value. They send them a copy of my audiobook and my digital book. And then they say, hey, would you like to, meet Krista in person and realize how you can partner with her? Then they get on a call with me and Jesse, and we talk all about EXP and we show them all the resources that we provide. So like if you were to go to, and all of you should create this, it's been so wonderful for us. So if you go to KristaMashore.com/partner resources, you can see all the things that we offer people when they join our organization. So basically what happens is that our students, our team members go to KristaMashore.com/partner resources. There they've got 2 copies of my books that they can give to anyone they want. They've got the audiobooks. We've got the schedule of all the trainings that we offer, both with Jesse and with myself. We've got trainings on agent attraction, accountability trainings, they can see all these things that they're getting. Now we have an agent attraction boot camp that Jesse and I are creating. And they talk to somebody, they're like, look, I know you're worried that, you know, you don't have an office, but we meet Monday through Friday with our organization. And here's what, you know, Jesse taught scripting on Monday. Today, Krista taught her listing presentation process. And then you've got, so, you know, when you can show them that, all the things that they get, and you can offer more value than the current broker that they're at, you know, it's so easy. And here's the thing, so many brokerages offer things like, you know, training and support, but they don't really, right? So the common denominator is really making sure that when you even find people, that you've got people that love to help people, that love to help people, and that want to, you know, just add as much value to them as possible. Because my friend that just is coming over, that loves his broker, she's one of his best friends, who was crying in my kitchen, said, Krista, I know that you can help me. So like, I've got to do this. I've got to do this for my family. People will leave even when they're happy, when they know you can provide more value and when they know you care. They don't care about you or what you can do until they know you care, right? So I think that's what's been so successful for Jesse and I, is that, you know, my people in my organization, they have my cell phone, they call me, you know, they call Jesse, and they know that when they go to that training, that Jesse and I are going to have so much enthusiasm. And I'll tell you what, I didn't even know anything about EXP when I first joined. I joined just for the brokerage aspect of it, because I'm coaching, you know, full time. I didn't want the liability of it. And just as Tina said, I spent 2 months really just watching every video I could ever imagine. And all of a sudden one day the light bulb finally went off. And once that light bulb went off, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to tell everybody, because I feel like I know every agent needs this so bad. And once you have kind of enthusiasm, I mean, it's kind of hard not to just to talk about it and to be really sincere about it. I mean, I had no intention on, you know, going into EXP for recruitment. And now I'm like completely obsessed with it.
So let me oh, hold on, mute. So there we go, Chris.
Again.
Let me sum up a couple of things for these guys. Oh, there we go. So notice Tina and Krista are saying very similar things. They both said when they joined the company, they got obsessed. They're not using the word obsessed, that's my word. I use that in a positive way. They got obsessed with consuming every bit of knowledge they could about EXP, all the details, everything they had, right? And they wanted to learn about this company. So write this down. If you're at home, write this down, guys. You don't go to church to find your faith. Go to church to strengthen your faith. And I don't know what EXP video I got that from. I got it from one of the EXP videos I've watched. But don't go to church to find your faith. Isn't that good, Krista? You don't go to church to find your faith. You go to church to strengthen your faith. If you guys aren't watching an EXP video once a week, I'm talking an agent attraction training. Like, there's so many sites with good trainings. BrentGove.com, he's got a ton of good stuff. I'm sure every organization's got different stuff. You know, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese probably has some stuff. Everybody's got their own resources, but we all have access to the same basic building blocks. And that's where someone was saying, you know, I'm a new agent. I'm not a coach. How do I do this? You don't have to be a coach, right? Find someone in your organization, or heck, leverage EXP's resources. 50 hours a week of live training at EXP, taught by amazing people. This is one team, one dream. You know, someone's saying, are those resources for everybody? I mean, yeah, she just gave you that link. It's going to make more sense to share resources for people that you are connected to, right? But that's the thing. There's no shortage of resources. Every week, EXP is putting out 50 hours of training. 50. That's a lot of training and resources. So let's see what sort of last, to wrap up this panel, and we might keep going for a little while because Don Yoakum, I don't see him in the room yet. So Don, if you're here, let me know that you're in the room, and I don't see your name on the list. So we'll just keep rolling for now. All right. Let's see here. Let's do a couple last questions for these guys, and then we'll, this will piggyback on this is one of my questions from the list. So let's start with Jeff. Jeff, any favorite agent attraction training videos you have watched since?
I watch both Krista's and Brent Gove's Model Explain pretty much once a week, because I think the thing that a lot of people get wrong is they think that there's one big thing that makes people switch to EXP. And for me, it wasn't. It was a lot of little things all culminating together. So I don't know if there's that necessary like aha movement or aha moment rather. That's going to be like, oh, I want to switch because of, you know, healthcare. But for some people, that may be. I we focused on when we switched is health insurance, because nobody I know that's like a single person has health insurance if they're a real estate agent. So focusing on understanding a whole picture by watching those videos will help you a ton explain it to everybody.
Yeah, what I actually did was, and again, we just did this in the past 4 months, but you have to be willing to do what other agents aren't willing to do, right? The only difference between successful people and people that are not successful is that they're just willing to do what other people aren't. So there's been plenty of times where I've spent, got up at 3 a.m. on a Saturday to watch these videos, and I'm not the fastest learner. Things take me a while to kind of click. And so, it takes me a bit longer than most. But what I did was I watched Brent Gove's Model Explained, and I could try to figure out how to post my video up here so you guys can feel free to use it and copy it. But I made my own video of Model Explained, and I shortened it, which is basically I think it's like 18 minutes long. And then I took it and I made smaller videos. So I did one about like the napkin that he showed, and I changed it up a bit. And then I did one about just rev share and stock. And so it was smaller. And then again, so if you go to the KristenMashore.com/partner resources, you can see my Model Explained video. You can see how I broke it up. You can see exactly what we give to our agents to show everybody else. Another thing that we did is when I joined, I said, Jesse, why don't we have some training that's Monday through Friday that we can give to people? So Jesse and I put together a training that's Monday through Friday from 8 to 8:30. Jesse trains every Monday, I train every Wednesday, and we just completely blow people out of the water. We allow our agents that are in our organization to bring people to that, so then they can go and they can learn from us, which then now they're able to see who the leaders are that they're going to have access to, and they say, hey, when you join with me, you get Krista and Jesse and all these other people. So it really, really works out really well. All of you could start one of those, right? And hey, somebody said I'm not Krista. I don't know what you mean by that, but here's the deal. My own brother said that to me. He goes, well, Krista, it's because it's you. And I said, that's BS. That is just an excuse. Anybody can lead with value. It's just a matter of you finding somebody within your organization. I mean, for God's sake, you can give them, my book if you want to. Give them a book on Gary Keller's. Give them, no, don't give him Gary Keller's. He's not with EXP, but give them something, right? Something that's going to really, really add value to them. Learn something. Get good at a skill that you then can teach people. Maybe you're a master at doing listing presentations. Maybe you're great with buyers. Maybe you're great with scripts. I don't know, but just get used to teaching, and you don't have to be somebody who is outgoing or who is an extrovert. You can absolutely be an introvert and be excited about what you're doing and be able to help somebody. But that's just what worked so well with us.
And to add to that, I think that you have to realize you don't have to know this stuff. Krista, you got to.
Oh God, sorry.
So you don't have to be an expert at this stuff. Say you're a brand new agent, you just joined EXP last week. Go into the trainings, learn something, and share it with somebody. You're not trying to be the expert, but sharing valuable information with people invokes the law of reciprocity, and that gets people excited about you. If you do something nice for somebody and give them something that will help them, they will feel indebted to you. So don't get obsessed with, oh, I'm not a perfect agent, nobody wants to listen to me. That's in your own head. If you offer value to people in whatever way you can, that will attract agents to you.
I have a really good idea for all of you, and it's this. So this is what we talked to our agents about this morning, and I'm looking the wrong way. What I would do, sorry guys, my thing is I'm not good at this, but what I would do is I would make a commitment, and I would do it first thing in the morning to just talk to one person a day. If you made a commitment to just talk to one person a day regarding agent attraction, without it being all cheesy and, hey, you like EXP? No, talk to one agent a day about real estate, okay? Not call 5, not call 20, talk to one. Number one, it's going to help you be better on your game in real estate because you are learning about the market, right? Talk to one agent, get to know them, ask how things are, and then ask them what brokerage they're with. They're going to ask you what brokerage you're with, and then start talking about all the wonderful things you love. You what I would do is this today. I would go on social media and I'd say, oh my gosh, I just went to EXPCon. It was free. We learned about blah, 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 blah. Talk to them, let them know what you got. And don't, again, you're not pushing EXP, but talk about a training. Be a reporter on social media, be a reporter to other people. And what I mean by that is be somebody that when you learn something, you teach it, right? Learn something, teach it. And then once you get people into your organization, make darn sure I think it's more important to keep people in and keep them well taken care of and keep them supported, even more than it is to bring them in, right? That partner, KristenMashore.com/partner resources, we had that built in like 2 months. I mean, we didn't have it 4 months ago. And all of a sudden we were like, we need more. How do we help our agents? And bam, we had that built, right? So, you guys can do all that too. It's just a matter of kind of thinking differently. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Can you guys hear me now? Let's see. Hold on. Can you hear me or no?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. My EXP world crashed in the middle of being on stage leading a panel. So I'm just going to acknowledge, hey, this company is pushing the forefronts of what it means and what it's like to push technology. Things like that are going to happen. Imagine if you were talking in front of real people, Tina, and I just like passed out in the middle of people and then woke up in the back of the room. That's kind of what just happened. Anyway, all right, so we're going to bring on Don Yoakum because people are asking how long does this panel go? This panel actually the whole session goes until 10:30.